I am Carrie, your host. I'm an attorney, Grammy-winning performing artist, author, and life coach. Clearly, I do not do boxes. I've been in corporate America for over 20 years, navigating that while also navigating other careers and doing them successfully, I humbly state. And today I am leveraging my own programs to help corporate professionals break out of their own boxes, to live a life of purpose without sacrificing their passions. So that's a lot. So today I'm really excited to tell you all about a new program that I am launching called the Empowered Woman's Masterclass. I am so excited about that, and we're going to be talking a lot about that on the network. You all know, as women, we find ourselves getting stuck in ruts, particularly as corporate professional women. We find ourselves in a rut and kind of getting lost in who we are. So we're going to take back the reins and empower ourselves so that we can live that purpose-driven life. Let me talk about a few things, share with you some of the things that we're going to be talking about. First, knowing yourself. That is so important, knowing yourself. I know that there are so many of us out there who are taking care of spouses, children, bosses, teams, and somewhere along the line, we are getting ourselves pushed way down. So we don't even know who we are anymore. So we are going to stop doing that, and we are going to take back our power. A part of that is understanding your passion. What gets you up in the morning? You know, what is it that you care about? What makes you smile? What makes you feel like, oh my goodness, I could do this every day without even getting paid? But we don't want to encourage that either. So we're going to talk about that, and kind of corollary to that, we're going to be talking about our saboteurs. We all have them, and we've all heard people talk about self-sabotage. But what you may not realize is that there's more than one saboteur. There are 10 of them. So we're going to be talking about something called positive intelligence and how we can first identify our saboteurs and then how we can proactively defeat those saboteurs. So I'm super excited to talk about that. We're also going to be talking about knowing your environment. Whether that is your home environment, the community environment, or the corporate professional work environment. It's so important to understand where you're sitting and how where you're sitting relates to who you are and what your passions are. And more importantly, when you need to find out how to shift. Sometimes it's important to shift your environment. So we're going to be talking a lot about that. We're also going to be talking about, and this is something that's really particular to the corporate professional women at work, how to identify and leverage your relevant strengths. Now notice I said relevant strengths. I'm not just talking about any strength. I'm talking about those strengths that are particularly aligned to both your passions and the organizational need. Because when you have that trifecta, that is when you are destined for extraordinary leadership. And so we're going to talk about that. Another thing we're going to talk about is leaning into the quote-unquote soft skills. Those leadership skills, those communication skills, relationship building skills, people skills. You know, you've heard it called soft skills, but I violently disagree. I think these are critical skills. As smart as we are, we can learn the technical aspects of what we do. But not everyone has the aptitude to draw in people, to make people remember how you made them feel rather than what you're teaching them. So we are going to talk about leaning into those soft skills. So I am excited about that. Next thing we're going to talk about is leveraging the power of perception. I'm going to say that again. Leveraging the power of perception. Oftentimes, we tell ourselves we don't care what so-and-so thinks or what anybody thinks, but we want to be a little bit more strategic about perception because perception can be so powerful when you are using it strategically. Depending on where you're going, how you're charting your trajectory, it's important to understand. It can be very, very, very crucial that what perception is and who that perception is coming from. It may make sense sometimes not to pay attention to it if it's not related to your trajectory. But if it is, you may want to pay attention to that and then figure out how you want to respond to it. And I say all the time, you don't have to agree with the perception. You just need to understand the perception so that you can know how to navigate it. So I'm excited to be talking about that. A few other pieces. Write the vision and make it plain. Write the vision and make it plain. It's really important for you to own your personal and professional trajectories. Super, super important. So you have to have a vision. You gotta have a vision of what it is you want, how you see it playing out, and write it down. A lot of times you hear if you can conceive it in your mind and believe it, you can achieve it. I like to add in there that you ought to write it down and also speak it, because it becomes more real to you, and then you put that energy out, and that energy that you put out comes back to you. I'm a big, big, big fan of vision boards, and I can assuredly say that every single vision that I have had, that I have put down on a vision board, it has come to pass. So we are going to talk about some tools that I have for you as you write your own vision and make it plain. Next thing I would say is lead from where you sit. You don't always have to have a title. And when you're looking to accelerate your career, you might want to kind of rethink how you're looking at that. Like, you're not necessarily chasing titles. You're looking to expand your leadership opportunity and looking at different ways to add value. The titles and the dollars that come with that will take care of themselves. So lead from where you sit. Look at and that's why it's important to know your strengths first and to know yourself. Because if you can find how to figure out where the organization is or where the environment is and how you can contribute to that, leveraging your strengths, you're onto something there. So lead from where you sit. So we're going to talk about that. And then I would say, well, I was gonna stop, but it's a couple more pieces that I want us to talk about. Is position. Well, before you position, create your personal board of directors. You are the CEO of your life, and you ought to be the CEO of your career. Okay? So it's important to have advisors sitting around you, trusted advisors around you. You may have many, many mentors. I have had many mentors over the course of both my careers, and I've learned to understand the difference between mentorship and sponsorship. That's crucial. I know we talk about sponsor. You hear people throwing around sponsorship around all the time, but what some people don't understand is mentor can be a sounding board, can kind of help you understand the culture, give you some examples of kind of the experiences that they've had. But the sponsor is the person that will not only put your voice in a room, but has the career capital to do that. So we are going to talk about what that professional board of directors should look like for you based on your vision of what you're trying to do and where you are trying to go in your life. And then I would say, speaking of sponsorship, position yourself for effective sponsorship. Position yourself for effective sponsorship. Right? It's not always about what you can get from someone, but how do you add value to that relationship so that someone is interested in sponsoring you. My experience, particularly in corporate America, has been mentors are selected by you, but sponsors find you. And I am going to tell you what they're looking for in order to put their career capital on the line for you and what you should be doing in that relationship. And then finally, I would say reach back, give forward. Reach back, give forward. How many times have you heard that, so-and-so got to where they are now and now they're just not interested in paving the way for someone else? I am a big, big believer in energy and throwing things out and giving things out so that it comes back to you, because I believe that if you're not doing your part, that disrupts that whole flow of energy. So we are going to talk about reaching back to make somebody else that's coming behind you a better leader than you are today, paying it forward. So all of these things are part of the Empowered Woman's Masterclass. We're going to have a great time talking about this, and we're going to touch on it. But of course, if you want to go deeper, there is an opportunity to sign up for the actual class itself. Those people who are on the network will get some great content, but going deeper, we'll have to go to www.Cores, like Sam Cotton.com, and sign up, and we can talk a little bit more personally. And I'm so excited because these 10 things that I have named today are 10 things that you can do today to start to change your personal and or professional trajectory. So join me. I know it's going to be a great, great time. I can't wait to get involved with the dialogue. I can't wait for your Q&A. It's going to be a great, great, great experience. So until then, enjoy the journey.